Call of Cthulhu. Pick up the Call of Cthulhu. I don't know how to say it. Hey guys, it's Kasara, and today I'm going to be doing my October week 1 reading vlog. Okay, it's Saturday, September 28th, so it's still September. I have a couple of days left in September before October starts, but I figured I'd just start this reading vlog now rather than waiting for the beginning of October. So I'm going to start with the books that I'm currently reading. So for my audiobook right now, I literally just picked up Into the Drowning Deep by Mira. The reason I decided to pick this book up is one, because I'm still in September, so I don't want to start picking up too many of my October TBR books yet. It's Saturday. It's not even like the Sunday for the week of October. My thing in September was reading a lot of sci-fi, and October I want to read more thrillers and horrors. And Into the Drowning Deep kind of is like both sci-fi and horror at the same time. So I felt like it was a good bridge between the 2 months for me. So that's why I decided to pick up that one. So far I'm really enjoying it. I really like the way that it's written, which surprises me a little bit, but also not very much, because Mira, the author of Into the Drowning Deep, is another pen name for Seanan McGuire, which I read a book by Seanan McGuire earlier this month, and I really didn't enjoy the writing in it, but I love the writing in the Wayward Children series. Obviously, I've never read anything by her other pen name, Mira before, so we'll see how this goes. But so far, I'm really enjoying like just the atmosphere of the book and everything, and I'm excited to see where this one goes, because I have a feeling it could be really, really good, and I'm hoping that I'll end up really liking it. I'm currently reading 2 other books. They're both fantasy. The first one is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. So this book won the TBR poll for the month of August, which means I'm supposed to read it in September. I only got a couple days left in September, so I kind of have to finish it. I'm 12% into the ebook. I don't actually know what chapter it is. I have hope. Let's put it that way. I have hope. Obviously, the poll was giving a series a second chance. So the Throne of Glass series obviously wasn't a series that I had planned to pick up again. And so far, the book is not great, but hopefully I'll end up liking it more. I do remember from like back when I read Throne of Glass the first time, I did think that Kale and Selena would make a good couple, which from what I understand, they're supposed to get together in Crown of Midnight. So maybe I'll end up liking it. Who knows? You never know, right? Yes, definitely reading Crown of Midnight. I'm probably gonna make that like my main focus for the next couple of days, because I just want to finish it before October. The other book that I'm currently reading is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I am so excited to continue on with this. I'm like trying to drag it out, but at the same time, like I want to finish it before October so that in October I could read Words of Radiance. I am close to the end now. I'm on chapter 45, which is like, according to Goodreads, 77% of the way done. This looks like I still have a lot left though. Like, that's really thick. Anyways, I've been listening to the audiobook, but I think I want to try and switch to the physical book for a little while and then maybe go back to the audiobook. So we'll see what I decide to do there, but really enjoying this so far. I did say that I was going to vlog this one separately, but I've done a really horrible job of vlogging it separately, so I'm just going to continue vlogging it with my regular vlogs, and then maybe at the end when I'm done reading it or anything, I'll go back and do like a book talk or something. If that's something you're interested in, let me know down in the comments. So for my wrap book this week, I ended up unwrapping The Rithmatist by Brandon Sanderson. Also, this is a YA book. I think it was the first YA book that he wrote. I'm interested in it because it's also fantasy. Like, I always like reading YA fantasy, and it's Brandon Sanderson, which he's one of my favorite adult fantasy authors. So hopefully I'll end up liking this one. But this was one of my unwrapped books, so I'll be getting to this later in the week. I'll probably wait till I finish at least one of my 2 more physical books, so The Way of Kings or Crown of Midnight. Probably I'll wait till I finish Crown of Midnight, just because I know if I pick this up, I'm not gonna read any of Crown of Midnight. Like, it's just not gonna happen. And I'm supposed to read that for my poll. So once I finish that one, I'll pick up The Rithmatist, which I'm actually more excited for than I was expecting. So it's Monday, September 30th, and this morning I finished Into the Drowning Deep by Mira. I was a little disappointed with this book, going to be honest with you guys, because I wanted a good horror story. I wanted it to really have that like scary atmosphere. It just didn't. Like, there were moments where I could feel it, but for most of the book, it didn't have that atmosphere to it that I was really looking for. Like, there were a lot of good characters. I love the characters. There was a lot of potential for these characters, though, that I just felt like weren't fully realized. There's good deaf representation that I think was done in a really interesting way, and I really love the way that was done. But like, overall, like, this book left me wanting more from it. I did like the ending. Like, the action at the ending was great. I didn't like the way it was done, though, just because it's told from multiple points of view, right? Which usually I really, really love, but we get a lot of internal monologue from these points of views. It could be fine if they're like actually thinking about what's going on and the action and stuff like that. But a lot of the internal monologue was just like emotional baggage from previous things, especially towards the end, that we had already known in the beginning. Like, the beginning, there was a lot of information about their backstories and like why they're doing what they're doing and things like that, which I was happy about. But then there was action at the end, and then we would continue get repetitions of those emotions about their backstories during the action at the end, which annoyed the crap out of me because I wanted to be in the action and I was in the backstory, if that makes sense. So I'm not really a fan of the writing, which makes me sad because I really, really wanted to be a fan of the writing. Overall, though, there were very enjoyable parts of this book, even though like it is definitely a slow start. So I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. I have made a little bit of progress on Count of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. I'm like 30% of the way through it now. I can see where this book is going. Like, I can see where it's going. I'm not in it when I'm reading it, you know what I mean? Like, when I think about it afterward, I'm just like, oh, this is an interesting plot. Like, this could be good. And then like, when I'm actually reading, I'm like, I'm kind of bored. And why do I not feel this romance at all? Like, I had actually, like, when I was reading Throne of Glass and Selena was with Dorian, I didn't feel that romance at all. Like, I didn't feel it at all, but I felt her connection to Kale. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know. Correct me in the comments if that's wrong. But I felt her connection with him more than the person she was actually with. And now that the romance is kind of moving towards Kale, I don't feel it. Like, I don't know what it is. I just don't, which makes me sad. And I understand, like, I've pretty much been spoiled for the rest of the series. At least romance-wise, I've kind of been spoiled for the rest of the series. That, like, she doesn't end up with Kale, but like, I wanted to feel it while she was with him, you know? If that makes sense. I don't plan on DNFing it. Like, I plan on finishing it. I was hoping to finish it today, but I'm just reading it too slow for that. I'm reading it at night. On my work days, like right now, I don't have that much time at night to read. So yeah, that's why I haven't been making a lot of progress on it. Hopefully I can finish it before the end of the week though, so that I could post my review on it. Since it was one of my pull books that I ended up getting, I'm gonna be posting a review on it. So we'll see how that goes. So instead of picking up a new audiobook, since it's still September, I don't want to dive into my October TBR quite yet. I'll start that tomorrow. So I decided to just continue on with The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I don't have a whole lot of time for audiobooks today anyway, so it's not like I'm gonna get much of it read. I just like being in this world, and it's just like, it's a good comfort zone to have, so I like reading it. It's Tuesday, October 1st. I decided to pick up The Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft. So it's just one of the stories in this anthology. I had only planned to start this one. I had started it on the audiobook, and I had planned to just pick up the physical book and just like do like half of the book. I ended up reading the entire story, and wow, like H.P. Lovecraft's writing, I love it like so much, which is weird because it's pretty dry. Like, it reads like nonfiction, but he has this like way of doing imagery that just screams horror. It gave me chills. There was a point in this where I like legitimately felt nauseous by what I was reading. Like, it was 2 sentences. I don't get physical reactions to books very often. For some reason, with his writing, I get physical reactions to the books. So it was so good. I really liked reading the physical book and listening to the audiobook at the same time. The physical book has some like weird spellings and things like that. So I was able to read it without like getting out of the book because of the spellings, because I could just hear what it's supposed to sound like without trying to figure out what it's supposed to sound like. And like, there was some weird punctuation at times too, which, I mean, that was fine. And the audiobook narrator was really good too. It was really, really good. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. Great start to horror this month. And I ended up giving it 5 stars. I just finished The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. It's Wednesday, October 2nd, and the last like 1/3 of this book is so good. I absolutely love the last 1/3 of this book. The first 2/3 were a little slow, in my opinion. I just feel like there's just so much book for the amount of plot that is here. But like, I can see like where the story was going. I wanted to keep reading and everything, but like the first 2/3, like there was a lot of words for the amount of plot was happening. There wasn't a whole lot happening in the first 2/3. Like it was a lot of like developing and building up. And then the last 1/3 was just like, I loved everything that happened. I loved everything that happened at the end. So yes, I ended up really, really loving this one. I'm giving it 5 stars, and I cannot wait to continue on with the series. Like, I'm so, so excited for it. I didn't make any progress on Crown of Midnight. Like, I just stopped doing that so I could finish Way of Kings because I was like super into Way of Kings. The other audiobook that I decided to start yesterday was Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris. So for that one, I'm enjoying it. I feel like being spoiled for that book really kind of harms my enjoyment of it. I think partially because it's a thriller. Like, I know what's gonna happen, so it's not as suspenseful as it would have been if I didn't know what was gonna happen, if you know what I mean. But like, I like the way that it's written so far, and hopefully I'll end up liking like the end of it. I'm only like 1/3 of the way through it, so I should be making more progress on that one today. But Way of Kings, so good. Love it so much. And I can't wait to read Words of Radiance. Okay, it's Thursday, October 3rd, and yesterday I finished Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris. I really enjoyed it. I feel like the thriller aspect to it was not as much as I was expecting it to be, and that's partially because I was spoiled for it. But I did really enjoy Clarice Starling, and like the plot in general I thought was really good, and I liked the way it was done. I really liked the writing style also, so I ended up giving that one 4 stars. This morning I decided to start Coraline by Neil Gaiman, and I actually ended up finishing it also. I really, really liked it. Like, I liked it more than I was expecting to, because Neil Gaiman is not my favorite author usually. For some reason, I really like his middle grade, and I just like the whimsical nature of Coraline, and it was like spooky without being scary. So like, I think it was like perfect as a middle grade novel, and I really enjoyed it. And I gave that one 4 stars as well. So after I finished that one, I needed to start a new audiobook. I know, I'm going through audiobooks so quickly. I just got the audiobook for The Dragon Republic off of hold for my library. So I decided to start that because I'm so excited. So The Dragon Republic by R. Kuang is the sequel to The Poppy War, which came out last year. And I really, really enjoyed The Poppy War, which I also listened to on audiobook. So that's why I decided to listen to this one on audiobook also. And so far, it has started out pretty good. Like, I'm not very far into it, like less than an hour, but so far I'm really, really liking it and definitely excited to continue on with it. As for physical books, I still have to finish Crown of Midnight. Well, that's an ebook, not a physical book, but I still have to finish Crown of Midnight, and I haven't made any progress on that, so I'll be trying to finish that today. We'll see how that goes. You know how earlier today I said I would be focusing on Crown of Midnight to try and finish it soon? Yeah, that didn't happen. I did, however, make a lot of progress on The Dragon Republic by R. Kuang, and I'm really, really enjoying it so far. Like, it is very action-packed, especially in the beginning. It's also extremely political. I love interesting politics and fantasy, so I really love the way that this plot is going so far. Also, like, Rin's character is so different in this book than it is in the first book, but I still really, really love it. Like, she's still very intense, which is like what I loved about her character in the first book, but she's also very emotional in a way that I didn't expect. So yes, I'm really, really enjoying it. It's Saturday, October 5th, and I did a lot of reading yesterday, but I didn't check in with you guys at all, so I have a lot to talk about. First of all, The Dragon Republic by R. Kuang. Oh, it is so good. The best description I have of this book is intense and ruthless. There's some gore in this book that makes Game of Thrones look tame sometimes, but I love every second of it. I'm almost done with it. I have like an hour left in the audiobook, and I love this book. Like, the first book in the series, The Poppy War, I liked it. I gave it 5 stars, but I didn't consider it a favorite. Not really. Maybe a favorite of the year, but not like an all-time favorite. This book was an instant all-time favorite for me. Like, it's so, so good. I love all of the action. I love the main character, Rin. Love her to death. And I really, really love like all of the descriptions and everything that happens in this book. So good. And I'm so excited. So excited to see more of this series. So I actually did make quite a bit of progress on Crown of Midnight yesterday. I think the last time I read it, I DNF'd it before it got to the good part because like some good stuff's happening now that I'm actually like somewhat interested in. But last night I realized I hadn't yet started The Rithmatist by Brandon Sanderson, which is my unwrapped book for this week, and it was Friday night, so I decided to start it. And I'm right about there now, page 111 about, and I have to be on page 160 in order to keep this book by the end of the day. So far I'm enjoying this. It's an interesting magic, which I mean you kind of expect with Brandon Sanderson, but I do like the main character, and the pacing and all of that is in such a way that like it keeps me really attached to the story while I'm reading it. So I'm gonna go work on this and I will talk with you guys later. Kuang. It was so good, like so good. Oh my gosh, I love the ending, and I still stand by the intense and ruthless. Like the ending was so ruthless and I loved it. It was just like tear your heart out good, and I loved everything about this book, like legitimately everything about this book. That being said, I do really love grimdark fantasy though, so if you don't like grimdark fantasy, this is not the book for you. I have made a bit of progress on The Rithmatist also. I'm right here on chapter 12, which is page 165, which means I'm 50% of the way through the book, and it's still Saturday, so that means I get to keep the book. I'm actually really enjoying it too. I'm interested in seeing where this is going because there's a good mystery plot to it, which I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I love a good like fantastical mystery. I don't know what it is about that. It's like one of my favorite types of plots in fantastical settings. I haven't really read any pure mystery books, but when it comes to fantasy mysteries, I love them so much. And this one is no exception. Really love it. I'm gonna cut in here really quick because it's still Saturday and I just finished The Rithmatist by Brandon Sanderson. I really enjoyed this book a lot more than I was expecting to. I love the characters. They're very real, but at the same time, they're a lot of fun. And I liked kind of like some of the mysteries going on here because there was a character in here that reminded me very much of Snape from Harry Potter, because it was a character that like everyone thought like he was the one, but at the same time, there were like hints and clues that he wasn't and things like that. And I love the way that plot line turned out at the end. I also really love the world in this book. The world in this book is so interesting. One, it has an interesting magic system, but the actual physical world itself is very different than like anything I've ever read before, and I really love it. It has like the United States in there, but it's not the United States, it's the United Isles, and it's like 60 different islands that are united into one country, but like it's kind of like the States, but not really, and like it's cool, and I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4.5 stars. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off on this vlog. Before I go, we have to unwrap my book from next week. So I picked a book. It's pretty thick, which makes me nervous, but we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I got The Kept Woman by Karen Slaughter. I haven't read anything by Karen Slaughter, which is why this ended up in my wrapped books, because I'm a little hesitant about it, but I feel like this falls in well with what I'm trying to do in October. So we'll see how this goes. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I post frequently on this channel, so consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.